The envelope sits on the passenger seat like a loaded gun. I keep glancing at a cream-colored paper, the kind that costs extra, the kinds Martha would have picked for our wedding invitations 42 years ago. My knuckles are white on the steering wheel. The highway hum fills the cab of my truck, that old F-150 with 200,000 miles and a passenger door that doesn't quite close right anymore. I've got the heat cranked because November in Pennsylvania gets into your bones and mine aren't what they used to be. The text message came 3 weeks ago. Not a call, a text. That we think it's best if you skip Thanksgiving this year. It's complicated. Hope you understand. No explanation. No phone call to follow up. Just those 2 sentences from my son, Michael, like he was canceling a dentist appointment. I'd stared at that message for 20 minutes in the parking lot of the hardware store. Engine running, heat blasting while some kid gathered shopping carts around me. Finally, typed back. Why? The 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. It's just better this way. We'll talk after the holidays. That was it. 27 years of raising him, wiping his nose, teaching him to throw a sitting in hospital waiting rooms when he broke his collarbone, paying for a wedding his mother never got to see, and I get to text messages, no conversation, no chance to defend myself against whatever the hell I'd done wrong. The envelope shifts as I take the exit. Route 422 to Douglasville. I could drive this route blind. I tried calling 5 times. Left 2 voicemails. Michael's wife, Vanessa, blocked my number, I know, because when I called from the gas station payphone like some kind of criminal, she picked up, heard my voice, and hung up without a word. That's when I knew this wasn't just Michael. This was her too, maybe especially her. The trees along the road are skeletal. Most of the leaves are gone, scattered in wet brown clumps along the shoulder. Gray sky pressing down. The kind of day that feels like it might snow but probably won't. Just cold and colorless and mean. I'd asked around. Subtle at first, then less so. Called Michael's brother, David, out in Origo. Dave, you're going back east for Thanksgiving? Yeah, flying in Tuesday. Why? Pause. Michael invites you. Of course he invited me. It's Thanksgiving, Dad. Why wouldn't he? So it was just me. Specifically, me. I thought about staying home. Thought about it. Seriously? I could get a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, watch football, pretend I didn't care, spend the day like any other Thursday, because what's Thanksgiving anyway, except a day when families pretend they like each other more than they do? But then I'd found the envelope. I'd been going through the filing cabinet in the basement, that old metal thing Martha organized 20 years ago with her label maker. Everything alphabetized and colored. I was looking for the deed to the house because the county sent some reassessment notice, and there it was, tucked in a folder, marked Medical Martha, 2019. I almost didn't open it. What was the point? She was gone 5 years now. And some days it feels like 5 minutes. Other days like 50 years. But something made me slide the papers out. And there it was. The proof, not proof of what I'd denied, never hidden that, but proof of what it meant, what it cost. Black and white, with official stamps and signatures. The kind of documentation you can't argue with, can't dismiss, can't wave away with some bullshit about it's complicated. I put it in a new envelope, drove to the house, their house, the 4-bedroom colonial with the 2-car garage and the landscaping service that comes every week, parked across the street like a stalker, and watched through the big bay window. Saw Michael moving around in there, saw Vanessa, saw my granddaughter, 10 years old, now probably doesn't even remember me clearly anymore. I almost got out. Almost walked up that driveway. Instead, I drove home and spent a week staring at the envelope. The GPS tells me I'm 12 minutes away. My hands are shaking. I tell myself it's the cold, but it's not the cold. The last time I saw Michael face-to-face was June, Father's Day. He showed up at my place around 3 in the afternoon late, enough that I'd already figured he wasn't coming with a card and a gift certificate to Home Depot. We sat on the porch, drank iced tea, talked about his job at the pharmaceutical company, some promotion he was up for. He didn't ask about me, didn't ask if I was doing okay, if I needed anything, if the house was too much to manage alone. He stayed 40 minutes. When he left, he said, "We should do this more often." I said, "Yeah, we should." We both knew we wouldn't. Now I'm doing 75 in a 65 zone, and a state trooper could pull me over any second. But I don't slow down. The envelope slides toward the door as I take a curve too fast. Martha used to say, I was stubborn. Said it like it was a character flaw, but also like she didn't entirely mind. Robert Quinn, she'd say, hands on her hips, shaking her head. You're the most stubborn man I've ever met. And I'd grin at her, because we both knew that's exactly why she married me. I wonder what she'd say about this, about showing up uninvited, about the envelope. Probably she'd tell me to let it go, to give it time to be the bigger person. But Martha's not here. And I've been the bigger person for 3 weeks, and it hasn't gotten me anywhere except more blocked numbers and more silence. The GPS announces my turn. Their street looks exactly like every other street in this development, identical trees planted at identical intervals. Mailboxes that all match. Driveways wide enough for the German sedans and SUVs. Everyone drives. Michael's house is the 5th one. On the left, white siding, black shutters. A wreath on the door with fake fall leaves and a bella bow. There are 4 cars in the driveway. I recognize Michael's BMW, Vanessa's Lexus, David's rental, and a Mercedes. I don't know, probably Vanessa's parents. Of course, they're here. Of course, everyone's here, except the one person who was told to stay away. I pull up to the curb, put the truck in park. Don't turn off the engine. Through the window, I can see movement, shapes passing by. Someone laughs so I can't hear it, but I can see the body language. The head thrown back. The envelope is in my hand. Now I don't remember picking it up. For a long moment, I just sit there. Engine running, heat blasting, heart doing things hearts shouldn't do at my age. Then I turn the key. Silence drops like a hammer. I get out. The cold hits me immediately, slicing through my jacket. I'm wearing the navy sweater Martha gave me for Christmas 8 years ago. The one she said made me look distinguished. It's got a small hole near the hem that I keep meaning to fix. The walkway to the front door is lined with those little solar lights, 12 of them. I counted them once when I was here for Emma's birthday party, back when I was still invited to things. My boots are loud on the concrete. I'm 3 steps from the door when it opens. Michael stands there. He's wearing a button-down shirt, blue, crisp, expensive. His face goes through about 5 expressions in 2 seconds. Surprise, anger, confusion, something that might be fear, and finally a kind of cold blankness. Dad, his voice is flat. What are you doing here? Behind him, I can see into the house. The dining room table set with what looks like Martha's good china, the set I gave to Michael after she died because Vanessa admired it. There are candles lit, wine glasses. The smell of roasting turkey drifts out. I hold up the envelope. We need to talk, I say. Michael doesn't move. He's blocking the doorway like a bouncer at a club I'm not cool enough to enter. Behind him, I hear voices go quiet, that sudden hush when people realize something's happening, when the background noise of a party drops to nothing. Dad, you can't just show up here. His voice is low, controlled. The voice he probably uses in meetings when he's trying to sound authoritative. I told you. You texted me, I say. There's a difference. His jaw tightens. He glances back over his shoulder, then steps onto the porch, pulling the door mostly closed behind him. The cold wraps around both of us. He's not wearing a jacket, and I can see goosebumps rising on his forearms, but he doesn't seem to notice. This isn't the time or place, he says. When is the time, Michael? Because I've been waiting 3 weeks for you to tell me what the hell I did wrong. Lower your voice. I'm not raising my voice, but I am. A little. He rubs his face with both hands. That gesture he's done since he was a teenager, when he was frustrated. For a second, I see him at 16, standing in this exact same posture when I caught him sneaking in after curfew. Same exasperated expression. Same sense that I'm the problem, that I'm the one making everything difficult. You know what you did, he says finally. No, I really don't. The door opens wider. Vanessa appears. She's wearing a black dress, pearly earrings, her blonde hair pulled back in a way that probably has a fancy name, I don't know. She looks at me like I'm a door-to-door salesman. Robert, not Dad, not even a hello, just my first name, cold as the November air. Vanessa, this is incredibly inappropriate. Is it more inappropriate than banning someone from Thanksgiving via text message? Her expression doesn't change. She's good at that, keeping her face perfectly neutral while making you feel about 2 inches tall. We explained our reasons. No, you didn't. You said it was complicated. That's not an explanation. Michael steps between us, literally putting his body in the gap. Dad, please, just go. We can talk about this later. When? January. Next year? When? Dead. Don't be dramatic. That word dramatic, it hits me like a slap. Martha used to accuse me of being dramatic when I got upset about things, when I'd raise my voice about the cost of Michael's college textbooks, or when the insurance wouldn't cover her treatments, or when the car broke down for the 3rd time in a month. You're being dramatic, Robert. Like my feelings were a performance, something I was exaggerating for effect. I hold up the envelope again. I have something you need to see? We don't need to see anything, Vanessa says. Her hand is on Michael's shoulder now, a united front. We've made our decision. What decision? What did I do? Movement behind them. David appears, my younger son, still in his jacket from the airport. He looks uncomfortable, caught between loyalties. Hey, Dad, maybe we should. Don't hey, Dad, me. You knew. You all knew. And nobody had the balls to tell me to my face. Robert Vanessa's voice goes sharp. There are children inside. Yeah, there are. One of them's my granddaughter. And I haven't seen her in 6 months because you people have been... Vanessa cuts me off. We've been protecting our family. The words land like stones in my chest. Our family. Not the family. Not your family, too. Their family. The one I'm not part of anymore. Protecting her from what? From her grandfather. Michael and Vanessa exchange a look. It's quick, but I catch it, that married couple telepathy, where entire conversations happen in a glance. From the negativity, Michael says, finally, from the constant, you make everything about yourself, Dad. Everything becomes about what you've sacrificed, what you've lost, how hard you've had it. I stare at him. What? It's true. He's gaining confidence now, like he's been practicing this speech. Every conversation, every holiday, it all circles back to Mom, to how hard things were, to money. Emma's 10 years old, and every time she sees you, she comes home asking why Grandpa is so sad all the time. I'm not, I stop. Takey, a breath. Your mother died. I'm allowed to miss her. It's been 5 years, Dad. 5 years. He says it's a lifetime. There is a statute of limitations on grief, and I've exceeded mine. And you've made it your entire identity, Vanessa adds. Her voice is softer now, which somehow makes it worse. The tragic widower, the martyr who gave up everything. I'm not a martyr. I'm just telling the truth. Your version of it, Michael says. The door opens wider. An older woman appears, Vanessa's mother, Patricia. I've met her maybe 4 times. She's wearing pearls and cashmere and disapproval. Is everything all right? She asked, though her tone suggests she knows it's not. Everything's fine, Mom, Vanessa says without turning around. Robert was just leaving. I'm not leaving. Not until you tell me what the hell this is really about. Patricia makes a small sound, a little intake of breath at my language. Michael's face hardens. Fine, he says. You want to do this here? On the porch? In front of everyone? I want to do this anywhere. I want to understand why my own son won't talk to me. Because talking to you is exhausting. The words explode out of him. Because every conversation is a guilt trip. Because you can't just be happy for us for what we've built. You have to make these little comments about how different things were for you, how you didn't have help, how you did it all alone. We get it, Dad. You had it hard. We know. Something cold is spreading through my chest. I never said. You don't have to say it. It's in everything. The way you look at our house, the way you talk about our cars, our vacations. We're doing something wrong by having nice things. We should feel guilty for being successful. That's not true. It is true, Vanessa says. Last Christmas, you made a comment about Emma's gifts. Said something about how Michael and David used to be happy with 1 or 2 presents. Remember? I do remember. Emma had opened what felt like 50 packages. And yes, I'd made a comment, but it wasn't mean-spirited. It was just an observation. That was different, I say. It's always different in your head, Michael says. But it lands the same way every time. We're spoiled. We don't understand real struggle. I never said you were spoiled. You didn't have to. A car drives by slowly, the driver rubbernecking at the scene on the porch. I suddenly realize how this looks: an old man in a fraying sweater, arguing with his well-dressed family on Thanksgiving. They probably think I'm drunk, or crazy, or both. David steps forward. Maybe we should all take a breath. Go inside. Talk about this calmly. He's not coming inside, Vanessa says. The finality in her voice is absolute. I look at Michael. Really look at him. When did he get so old? There are lines around his eyes, gray in his hair. He's 47. I was 47. When Martha got diagnosed, I remember being that age. Remember feeling like I had everything figured out. I paid for your education, I say quietly. The envelope is still in my hand, crumpling slightly from my grip. Your brothers, too, worked double shifts at the plant for 6 years so you boys could go to college without debt. And you never let us forget it, Michael says. I'm not trying to. I start again. I'm proud of you, both. of you. I just wanted you to know what it took. We do know, Dad. You've told us 1,000 times. Vanessa's mother is still standing there, witnessing everything. I can feel her judgment like radiation. Behind them, in the warm house full of food and family, someone laughs. Life going on without me. I have something, I say again, lifting the envelope. Something about your mother. Something you don't know. We don't want to hear it, Michael says. You need to hear it. Dad, it's about the money. The $73,000. The number hangs in the air between us. Michael goes still. David takes a small step back. Even Vanessa's expression flickers. Just for a second. What about it? Michael asks carefully. I can explain. If you'd just let me. That's what this is about. Vanessa's voice. You came here on Thanksgiving to talk about money. To make us feel guilty about. It's not about guilt. It's about the truth. We know the truth, Michael says. You withdrew $73,000 from your retirement account. We saw the statements when we were helping you with Mom's estate papers. You won't tell us what it was for. And honestly, Dad, it's your money. You can do what you want with it. You don't understand then? Help us understand. Right now. No envelope. Just tell us. I look at him, at David, at Vanessa and her mother, and the closed door with the wreath and the warm light spilling out onto the cold porch. I can't, I say, not like this. Michael's shoulders drop. Then we're done. Here, Michael, go home, Dad. Please. He steps back inside. David follows, giving me one last apologetic look. Vanessa stays for a moment longer. For what it's worth, she says quietly, I'm sorry it came to this, but you have to understand. We have to protect our family, our peace. Then she's gone too, and the door closes with a soft, final click. I stand there on the porch for a long moment. The envelope is bent in my hand. Inside the house, life resumes. I hear a child's laughter. Emma, probably. My granddaughter, who thinks Grandpa is too sad. I walk back to the truck. Get in. The seat is cold now. The whole cab is cold. I don't start the engine right away. I just sit there, looking at the envelope, at the proof they wouldn't let me show them. Then I see movement. A curtain in the upstairs window shifts. Someone's watching me leave. I start the truck and pull away from the curb, but I don't head home. I have a different idea now. A better one. If they won't listen, someone else will. I'm parked outside the Hampton Inn on Route 422 on John Idling, watching the lobby entrance through the windshield. It's nearly 8 o'clock. The Thanksgiving dinner will be wrapping up about now. Dessert. Finished dishes being cleared, everyone moving to the living room for coffee, and that particular kind of exhaustion that comes from eating too much and pretending to enjoy each other's company more than you do. David's rental car is in the lot. 3rd row, silver Camry. I spotted it immediately. I've been sitting here for 40 minutes trying to decide if this is pathetic or necessary. Probably both. The envelope sits on the dashboard now, illuminated by the parking lot lights. I've picked it up and put it down 6 times. The paper is soft from handling. The corners bent. Inside are 3 pieces of paper that explained everything, and Michael wouldn't even look at them. You make everything about yourself. His words loop in my head like a song I can't shake. Is that true? Do I really do that? I think about the last few times I saw them. Michael's birthday in Marside brought a card and a bottle of scotch. We'd sat in his kitchen while Vanessa made dinner, and he told me about some conference in Atlanta, how the company put him up at the Ritz-Carlton. And maybe I'd said something about how my work conferences used to be at the Holiday Inn off the interstate, with continental breakfast and a parking lot full of but I wasn't trying to make him feel guilty. I was just talking, sharing, wasn't I? Emma's recital in May. She'd played piano some simple piece, lots of wrong notes, but she'd looked so proud in her blue dress. Afterward, at the ice cream place, Vanessa had mentioned they were thinking about getting Emma a new piano, something better than the starter keyboard. And I'd said something like, must be nice, being able to afford the good stuff right away. I'd meant it as a compliment, as recognition of how well they were doing. But maybe it didn't land that way. The lobby door opens. A family comes out, parents to kids, wheeling suitcases. Not David. I checked my phone. No messages. Not that I expected any. I almost called him from the truck right after I left Michael's house. Had my finger on his contact. But what would I say? Your brother kicked me out of Thanksgiving. Can we talk? I'm trying to get him to choose sides, to split the family even further. Martha would know what to do. She was good at this. Navigating the complicated emotional terrain of family, she'd know the right words to say, the right time to push and when to let things breathe. I'm just a guy who worked in a steel plant for 37 years and thought showing up and providing was the same thing as being good at relationships. Maybe it's not. The door opens again. This time it's him. David's alone, hands in his pockets, heading toward the Camry. He's changed out of the nice clothes wearing jeans and a Patagonia fleece now. He looks tired. Probably expected to spend the evening at Michael's. Maybe watching football, but I'm guessing my little scene on the porch cut things short. I get out of the truck. Dave. He stops, turns. For a second, his face goes through the same sequence Michael's did, surprise, then something more complicated. But he doesn't look angry, just sad. Dad, what are you doing here? We need to talk. He glances back at the hotel, then at me, then sighs. Yeah, I guess we do. We end up being his room on the 3rd floor. It's generic 2 double beds with industrial bedspreads, a TV bolted to the dresser, art that's not really art on the walls. His suitcases open on the desk, clothes spilling out in that way people pack when they're only staying a few days. He sits on one bed. I take the chair by the window. Want something from the vending machine? He asks. I saw they have those little bottles of wine downstairs. I'm fine. Coffee? David, I'm fine. He nods, rubs his face. He does that same gesture Michael does, that same frustrated surrender. It's genetic, apparently. Some Quinn family trait, the visible sign of being done with someone's bullshit. That was pretty rough back there, he says. Yeah! Did you really think showing up was a good idea? Honestly, I don't know what I thought. I lean forward, elbows on my knees. I just needed to see him. To understand, he told you via text. It wasn't great, but a text isn't an explanation. David's complicated isn't a reason. He's quiet for a moment, looking at his hands. Out the window behind me, I can hear traffic on the highway, that constant white noise of America moving. He's not wrong. You know, David says finally, about some of it. The words hit harder, coming from him. Michael, I can be angry at... Michael's been pulling away for years, influenced by Vanessa, building a life that has less and less room for me in it. but David still calls every couple of weeks. David sent flowers on the anniversary of Martha's death. David's the one I thought still understood. You too, I ask. Don't do that. Don't make it me against you. Then what is it? He stands, walks to the window, looks out at the parking lot. You remember when Jen and I split up 3 years ago? His divorce? I'd flown out to Portland, spent a week helping him pack up the house, move into his apartment, sat with him in bars where he didn't drink, just needed someone there. Of course, I remember. You were great, really great. You listened, you helped, you didn't judge. He turns to face me. But every conversation eventually circled back to you and Mom. How you two made it work for 42 years. How you never gave up, even when things were hard. How, if people just tried harder, committed more, marriages wouldn't fail. I didn't mean, I know you didn't, but that's what I'm saying. You don't mean to do it, but you do. You make every situation a referendum on your life, your choices, your sacrifices. I sit back in the chair. The vinyl creaks under my weight. I'm proud of what your mother and I built, I say quietly. Is that so wrong? No. But there's a difference between being proud and using it as a measuring stick for everyone else. I don't do that, Dad. He says it gently. You do. Maybe not consciously, but yeah, you do. The room is too warm. I want to take off my jacket, but it feels like admitting something if I do. Settling in for a long conversation I'm not sure I want to have. The money, I say instead. Did Michael tell you what he thinks it was for? David sits back down on the bed. He's got theories. We both do. What? I don't know. Gambling, some kind of investment that went bad. He wondered if maybe you gave it to someone, a woman, possibly. After Mom died, a woman, Jesus Christ. The idea is so absurd I almost laugh. There's no woman, then what was it for? I pulled the envelope from my jacket pocket, set it on the bed between U.S. It's in there. Everything. The withdrawal slip, the receipt, a letter from the hospital. David looks at the envelope like it might explode. Why are you showing me and not Michael? Because he wouldn't look. He shut the door in my face. Can you blame him? You showed up uninvited on Thanksgiving, Dad. You ambushed him. I tried calling, texting. He blocked me because you wouldn't drop it. You kept pushing for what? An explanation? Basic human decency. David picks up the envelope, weighs it in his hand. What's in here that's so important it couldn't wait until after the holidays? The truth about why you two didn't have student loans, about how your mother and I afforded everything, about what I gave up. I stop. Take breath. About what she gave up. He's looking at me now, really looking. What are you talking about? Just open it, Dad. Open it, David. He slides his finger under the flap, tears it carefully, pulls out the papers. I watch his face as he reads. Watch the confusion, then the focus, then something I can't quite name. His eyes move across the lines. Once, twice. He flips to the second page. Holy shit, he says softly. This is... When did this happen? November 2019, right before Thanksgiving. Actually, the irony isn't lost on me. 6 weeks before she died. He looks up at me. We had no idea. She didn't want you to know. Said it would just make you feel guilty. And what good would that do? The decision was already made. But $73,000 was what she needed, what the treatment would have cost. The experimental trial that might have given her another year, maybe 2. I can feel my throat getting tight, but we didn't have it. The insurance wouldn't cover it. It wasn't approved by the FDA yet. We had maybe $30,000 in the retirement account, and that was supposed to be for both of us, for the rest of our lives. David's quiet, still reading. So she made a choice. I continue. Said no to the treatment. Said we should keep the money, that I'd need it for later, for when I couldn't work anymore. She didn't want to spend our entire future on a maybe, but she withdrew it anyway. After she was gone, when it was too late to help her, but not too late to help someone else, he looks up sharply. What? Page 3. The letter from the hospital he flips to it reads. His hand goes to his mouth. You paid for someone else's treatment. A kid, 23 years old. Same cancer. As your mother. Same trial. His family was like us working people. No savings. No way to afford it. The hospital social worker told me about him. Said he had a real shot if he could just get into the program. Jesus, Dad. I couldn't save her, but I could save him. So I did. The room is very quiet. Outside, a siren wails past on the highway. Does Michael know any of this? David asks. How could he? He won't talk to me. You should have told us. Years ago, your mother made me promise not to. Said it was her choice to make, and she didn't want it hanging over your heads. Didn't want you spending your lives feeling like you owed her something. David sets the papers down carefully. They're fragile. So why tell us now? Because Michael thinks I'm bitter about money. Thinks I resent him for having nice things. And maybe I am bitter sometimes. Maybe I do make those little comments. But it's not because I begrudge him success. It's because I forced myself to continue. It's because every time I see him in his expensive house with his expensive cars, I think about what your mother gave up so he could have a life without debt, so he could start fresh with opportunities we never had. And he doesn't even know it, doesn't know what it cost. That's not fair. I know it's not fair, but it's true. David stands, walks to the window again. His reflection in the glass looks like a stranger. You can't put this on him, he says. This guilt trip. You can't hand him these papers and expect. I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone. I'm trying to explain by showing him that his mother died so he could have a nicer life. Dad, how is that not a guilt trip? I don't have an answer for that. He turns around. You want to know what I think? Do I have a choice? I think you're lonely. I think you miss Mom so much. It's eating you alive. And instead of dealing with that, you're turning it into some kind of crusade. Some need to make sure we understand the sacrifices. That's not it is, though. And I get it. I really do. But Dad, you can't build relationships on guilt. You can't make people love you by showing them how much you suffered for them. The words settle over me like snow, cold and heavy and impossible to brush off. So what do? I ask. My voice sounds small. I don't know. Apologize. Maybe. Give Michael space. Stop keeping score. I'm not keeping score. You withdrew $73,000 from your retirement to save a stranger's life, and you're using it as evidence in a family argument. Dad, you're absolutely keeping score. He's right. I know he's right. But knowing doesn't make it easier. The kid lived, I say. The one I paid for. He went into remission, last I heard. He's married now, has a baby. That's good, really good. Your mother would have been happy about that. She would have. Silence fills the space between us. Outside, more sirens. This town is all highways and strip malls, People passing through on their way to somewhere else. Nobody stays. Will you talk to Michael? I ask. Show him these. David looks at the papers spread across the bed. I'll talk to him. But Dad, you need to understand this. Might not change anything. It might make things worse. How could they get worse? He gives me a sad smile. You'd be surprised. I stand to leave. My back aches from sitting too long, from the drive, from being 67 years old and tired in ways I didn't know a person could be tired. At the door, I turn back. Dave, thanks for listening. That's what family does. Is it? Because from where I'm standing, it seems like family does a lot of not listening to. He doesn't have an answer for that either. I drive home in darkness. The envelope is gone left with David. The proof of my martyrdom, or my love, or whatever the hell it was. I'm not even sure anymore. The house is dark when I pull into the driveway. No porch light left on because there's nobody to leave it on for. I unlock the door, step into the silence. On the kitchen counter, my phone buzzes. A text. For a second, my heart lifts. Maybe it's Michael. Maybe David already talked to him. But it's not Michael. It's a number I don't recognize. Is this Robert Quinn? We need to talk about your son. I stare at the message. Read it 3 times. Then I notice the area code. It's local. Pennsylvania. My fingers are shaking as I type. Who is this? The response comes immediately. Someone who knows what really happened. We should meet. I don't sleep. I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling. The phone on my chest, rising and falling with my breath. And I don't sleep. The heat clicks on around midnight, rattles through the vents, then goes quiet again. The house makes its nighttime sounds there. Refrigerator humming, pipes settling, the creak of old wood adjusting to the cold. Someone who knows what really happened. I must have read the message 200 times, typed and deleted 12. Responses. Finally, around 2 in the morning, I'd sent. What do you mean? No reply. At 3 a.m., I got up, made coffee. I didn't drink. Sat at the kitchen table where Martha and I used to eat breakfast together. Her chair is still there. I haven't moved it. Sometimes I put the newspaper on it so I don't have to see it empty. The phone stayed silent. By the time the sun comes up late, November sun, weak and pale through the kitchen window, I've convinced myself it was a wrong number or a scam. Someone who saw my name somewhere thought they could shake down a lonely old man for money. Then, at 7:23 a.m., it bought Rosie's Diner on Lancaster Avenue, 9 a.m. Come alone, like something from a movie. I'm being recruited by the CIA instead of meeting some stranger who may or may not know something about my son. I should ignore it. Block the number. Call David. Tell him about the weird messages. Instead, I shower, put on clean jeans, and the flannel shirt Martha bought me a tractor supply 3 Christmases ago. Make toast. I can't eat. Check the phone 6 more times to make sure the message is real. At 8:30, I'm in the truck heading toward Lancaster Avenue. Rosie's Diner is the kind of place that's been around forever, outlasting every chain restaurant that tried to set up nearby. Red vinyl booth, black and white checkered floor, a counter where old men drink coffee and read the paper like it's still 1985. I used to bring the boys here on Saturday mornings when Martha worked the weekend shift at the hospital. They'd get chocolate chip pancakes, and I'd get the farmer's breakfast eggs, bacon, hash browns, toast, back when I could eat like that and not feel it for days. The parking lot is half full. Pickup trucks, mostly. A few sedans. I park near the back, away from the entrance. Some instinct making me cautious. Inside, The place smells like bacon grease and coffee. A waitress I don't recognize, young, maybe 20, with purple streaks in her hair, gestures at the booths. "Sit anywhere, hon." I scan the room. Couples, solo diners, a table of construction workers still in their boots and high-waist vests. No one who looks like they're waiting for someone. I slide into a booth near the back, facing the door. Another movie thing, but it feels right. The waitress brings coffee without asking. "You know what you want, or you need a minute?" "Just coffee for now. Waiting on someone." "Sure thing." She leaves. I wrap my hands around the mug, let the heat seep into my palms, watch the door. At 9:07, a woman walks in. She's maybe 45, 50, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, no makeup, wearing scrubs under a winter coat. She scans the diner the same way I did, and when her eyes land on me, something in her face shifts. Recognition. She walks over, doesn't ask if she can sit, just slides into the booth across from me. "Robert Quinn," she says. Not a question. That's me. Up close, I can see the fatigue in her face. The kind that comes from working long shifts, from not enough sleep, from carrying weight that doesn't show on a scale. Her name tag says, Michelle RN. "You're a nurse," I say. "I see you. Chester County Hospital." She shrugs off her coat. "Just got off a double shift. This conversation needs coffee." The waitress appears again, pours for Michelle without being asked, tops off mine. "You eating?" Michelle asks me. I'm fine. I'm not. She orders eggs, bacon, wheat toast. The waitress disappears again. We sit in silence. For a moment, she dumps 2 sugars in her coffee, stirs slowly. "You going to tell me who you are?" I ask. Or do I have to guess? I'm someone who's been watching this situation for a while now. Someone who thinks you deserve to know the truth. What truth? She takes a sip of coffee, sets the mug down carefully. "About why your son really doesn't want you around." My stomach tightens. I know of Michael. More importantly, I know Vanessa. She leans back against the booth. E? Work with her mother. Patricia, the woman from the porch yesterday. Old pearls and judgment. I say slowly. "So you work with Vanessa's mother." That still doesn't explain, Patricia talks. "A lot. About her daughter. About her perfect son-in-law. About their perfect life." Michelle's voice has an edge to it, about how they had to cut out certain toxic influences. She said that. Toxic. Those exact words. Said her daughter was finally standing up for herself, setting boundaries with difficult family members. Michelle meets my eyes. "She was talking about you. I should feel angry. I do feel angry. But there's something else underneath, a kind of vindication. They've been talking about me, painting me as the problem, making me the villain in their story." "Why are you telling me this?" I ask. The waitress brings Michelle's food. She picks up a piece of bacon, takes a bite, chews thoughtfully. "Because I don't like bullies," she says finally. "And I don't like people who rewrite history to make themselves look good." "What do you mean?" She sets down the bacon, leans forward. "How much do you know about Michael and Vanessa's marriage?" "I know they've been married 12 years. I know they seem happy. I know Vanessa runs the household like a military operation. Do you know they almost divorced 2 years ago?" The words hit me like cold water. "What?" "Michael had an affair." "Not a long one, maybe. 3-month. Woman he met at the conference." Vanessa found out. Nearly left him. They went to therapy, worked through it, decided to stay together for Emma's sake. I'm shaking my head. No, Michael wouldn't. And I'm not judging him for it. People make mistakes. Marriages are complicated. But here's the thing. She picks up her fork, points it at me. Vanessa forgave him. On one condition. What condition? That he cut off anyone she deemed a negative influence. Anyone who might remind her of the betrayal, of the imperfection in their marriage. Anyone who represented the kind of life she didn't want. The diner noise fades to background static. I can hear my own heartbeat. She blamed me for Michael's affair. Not directly. But you represented something to her? Working class values. The idea that suffering and sacrifice are noble. That marriage is about enduring, not enjoying. She saw you as a reminder that relationships are hard, that people fail, that sometimes love isn't enough. Michelle takes a bite of eggs, and she didn't want that energy around Emma, around their new beginning. That's insane, is it? Think about it. Every time you visited, what did you talk about? I don't know. Normal things, family. Marta, exactly. Marta, your wife, who died. Your marriage that lasted 42 years. The implicit comparison to their marriage, which almost ended after 10. She softens her voice slightly. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm saying your presence made Vanessa uncomfortable, reminded her of her own vulnerability. I sit back against the booth. The vinyl squeaks under my weight. So this whole thing, text message, the Thanksgiving Benitez, because I make Vanessa uncomfortable. It's because Vanessa convinced Michael that you were the problem, that your negativity, your constant references to sacrifice and hardship were damaging to their family. And Michael, who was desperate to prove he'd changed, who was terrified of losing his wife and daughter, went along with it. Jesus Christ. I know. I look down at my coffee. It's gone cold. How do you know all this? I ask. About the affair. The therapy. Patricia talks. Like I said, she's proud of how her daughter handled it. Proud that Vanessa was strong enough to set boundaries to protect her family from negative influences. Michelle's mouth twists. She brags about it, about how they've created this perfect little bubble. No drama, no difficult people, just success and positivity and expensive vacations. And I'm the difficult people. You're the reminder that life isn't always perfect, that people die, that money is real and hard to come by, that sacrifice exists. She finishes her eggs, pushes the plate away. In Vanessa's world, you're the ghost at the feast. I don't know what to say. Part of me wants to stand up, drive to Michael's house, confront him with this information, demand to know if it's true, if he really threw away our relationship to keep his marriage together. But another part of me, the tired 67-year-old part, just feels sad. Why are you telling me this? I ask again. What do you get out of it? Michelle signals the waitress for more coffee. I told you I don't like bullies, and I don't like watching good people get erased from their own families. You don't even know me. No. But I knew someone like you once. My dad worked construction his whole life. Died when I was 30, and 4 years after, my mother's new husband tried to erase him, tried to make it seem like he'd been difficult, problematic, not worth remembering. Her jaw tightens. I didn't fight back then. I let it happen. I'm not making that mistake again. The waitress refills both our mugs. We sit in silence for a moment. What am I supposed to do with this information? I ask. Whatever you want. Confront Michael. Tell him. Or don't. Walk away. Let them have their perfect life without you in it. She shrugs. I just thought you deserved to know it wasn't really about you. Not the you that actually exists. Anyway, it's about the you they needed you to be so they could justify cutting you out. She's right. I already knew this. Knew that the complaints do negative, too focused on sacrifice. Too much talk about Martha War rationalizations, ways to make exile seem reasonable. But hearing it confirmed, understanding the machinery behind it, doesn't make it hurt less. If anything, it hurts more. There's one more thing. Misha sees. She reaches into her bag, pulls out her phone, scrolls for a moment, then turns it to face me. It's a Facebook post. Vanessa's page. A photo from yesterday. Thanksgiving table, perfectly set. Everyone smiling. The caption reads, "So grateful for our beautiful family and our drama-free holiday. Sometimes the best gift is knowing when to let go of toxic relationships." Hashtag blessed, hashtag boundaries, hashtag gratitude. I stare at the photo, at Michael's smile, at Emma in her nice dress, at Vanessa's arm around her mother, Achi, the empty chair that should have been mine. Posted this morning, Michelle says quietly. 600 likes and counting. She puts the phone away, pulls cash from her wallet, leaves it on the table, stands up. "I'm sorry," she says. "I know this doesn't make it easier, but I thought you should know." "Wait," I say, "how do I reach you?" "If I need to, you don't. This is it. This is all I can give you." She pulls on her coat. "What you do with it is up to you." Then she's gone, and I'm alone in the booth with cold coffee and information I don't know what to do with. My phone buzzes. It's David. "Talked to Michael this morning. Showed him the papers. We need to talk. Can you come back to the hotel?" I stare at the message. Then I look at the empty seat across from me where Michelle sat. Sometimes the best gift is knowing when to let go of toxic relationships. I stand up, leave money on the table, walk out into the cold November morning, but I don't drive to David's hotel. I have a different stop to make first. Michael's BMW isn't in the driveway. Just Vanessa's Lexus parked at an angle. She pulled in quickly, and a landscaping truck at the curb with two guys unloading equipment. It's 10:30 on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and I'm parked across the street again, watching the house like some kind of stalker. I should go to David's hotel. Should have gone there straight from the diner. But Michelle's words are burning in my head. The you they needed you to be so they could justify cutting you out, and I can't let it sit. Can't walk away without understanding if it's true. If my son really traded me for his marriage, the landscapers are doing something with the flower beds, pulling out dead plants, preparing for winter. One of them glances at my truck. I should movie this looks suspicious. Instead, I get out. The cold hits immediately. There's a different quality to November cold the day after Thanksgiving, sharper, more honest. The pretense of fall is over. Winter's coming, whether you're ready or not. I cross the street. The landscapers don't look up. I walk up the driveway, past Vanessa's Lexus with its blessed bumper sticker and Emma's honor roll decal in the back window, and I ring the doorbell. The wreath is still up through the frosted glass panels beside the door. I can see movement. Vanessa opens the door in yoga pants and a cashmere sweater, hair down, no makeup. For a second, she looks younger, less polished, almost human. Then she sees it's me, and her face hardens. "Robert, we need to talk." Michael's not here. I know. I want to talk to you. She glances past me at the landscapers, then back at my face, calculating, probably running through scenarios what the neighbors might see, what it would look like if she slammed the door on her father-in-law in broad daylight. 5 minutes, she says, and then you leave. She steps back. I walk in. The house smells like cinnamon and whatever expensive candles she buys. The dining room is visible from the foyer, the table cleared now, back to its normal state, with a centerpiece of fake magnolia leaves and white pumpkins. Yesterday's evidence erased. Kitchen, she says, leading the way. The kitchen is magazine perfect. White cabinets, marble counters, stainless steel appliances that probably cost more than my truck. There's a coffee maker that looks like it belongs in a spaceship. She doesn't offer me any. She leans against the counter, arms crossed. What do you want? I want to know about Michael's affair. Her face doesn't change, but something happens behind her eyes. A flicker? Excuse me? 2 years ago, the woman from the conference, the Pharisee, the condition you gave him for staying together. I take a step closer. I want to know if cutting me out was part of the deal. She's silent for a long moment. Outside, I can hear the landscapers talking, the sound of a leaf blower starting up. Who told you that? Her voice is very calm. Does it matter? It matters. Because it's none of your business. What happens in my marriage becomes my business when it's used as an excuse to exile me from my family. Exile, she says, the word like it tastes bad. So dramatic. You weren't exiled, Robert. We set boundaries because I remind you of things you don't want to think about. Because you make everything harder. She pushes off from the counter. Do you have any idea what it's like? Trying to build a life, trying to create something good, and constantly having someone in your ear talking about sacrifice and struggle and how hard everything used to be. I never, you do. Constantly. Every visit, every phone call, every holiday. It's like you can't help yourself. You need everyone to know how much you gave up, how much you suffered. I'm just telling the truth. Your truth. Your version where you're the hero and everyone else is somehow less because we didn't have to struggle the same way. She's not yelling, but her voice has an intensity that cuts deeper than volume. Do you know what Emma said to me after you left her birthday party? She asked why Grandpa was so sad all the time. Why he talked about Grandma dying? It just happened instead of 5 years ago. The words land like punches. I miss her, I say quietly. I know you do. And I'm sorry for that. I really am. But you use it. You weaponize your grief. Make everyone else feel guilty for moving on, for being happy, for not dwelling in the past the way you do. That's not fair. Life's not fair. Robert, you taught Michael that. Remember all those lessons about hard work and sacrifice and nothing coming easy. Well, here's another lesson you can't guilt people into loving you. You can't make them want you around by constantly reminding them what you gave up for them. My hands are shaking. I shove them in my pockets. I paid for his education, I say. His brothers too. Worked myself half to death so they wouldn't start their lives in debt. And maybe I mention it sometimes. Maybe I'm not always graceful about it. But it's the truth, and he should know what it cost. He knows. We all know. You've made sure of that. She walks to the coffee maker, pours herself a cup, doesn't offer me any. But knowing what someone sacrificed for you doesn't create love. It creates obligation, guilt, resentment. So the affair was my fault too. She turns around, mug in both hands. The affair was Michael's mistake, his failure, and yes, it almost destroyed us. But we chose to rebuild, to create something new, something healthier. By cutting out anyone who reminded you it almost fell apart. By protecting what we'd built, by removing sources of negativity and stress. She takes a sip of coffee. You want to know the truth? The therapist suggested it, said we needed to evaluate all our relationships, identified which ones added value and which ones drained us. And you, Robert, have been draining us for years. The casual cruelty of it, the therapeutic language used to justify excellence, almost impressive. I'm his father. And that means what? Exactly that you get unlimited access, that we have to endure your negativity forever because of biology. It means I deserve more than a fucking text message. She flinches slightly at the language, but recovers quickly. You're right. The text wasn't ideal, but you wouldn't have accepted a phone call. You would have argued, guilted, made us explain ourselves over and over until we gave in. The text was clean, final. It was cowardly. It was self-preservation. We stare at each other across the expensive kitchen. Through the window, I can see the landscapers working, normal people doing normal jobs, unaware of the small war happening inside. Did he want to do it? I ask. Or was it all you? Something shifts in her face. Does that matter? Yes. She sets down her coffee mug. Michael wanted to fix things. Wanted to prove he could be the husband I needed. And boom. Told him what I needed was a fresh start. No constant reminders of failure, of struggle, of things falling apart. No voices telling us we should just endure, just sacrifice, just accept whatever comes. So he chose you. He chose his marriage, his daughter, his future. She meets my eyes. Can you really blame him for that? I can't. That's the terrible thing. If I'm honestly, Honesta can't blame him for choosing his wife and child over his father, for protecting what he'd almost lost. But understanding doesn't make it hurt less. I have proof. I say about the money, about what it was really for. What your mother gave up so Michael could have opportunities. I know. David showed us this morning. That stops me. He did? Yes. The whole story. The cancer treatment. The experimental trial. The choice your wife made. The money you gave to that young man. Her expression softened slightly. It's a beautiful thing you did, Robert. Really? But it doesn't change anything. How can it not change anything? Because it's still the same pattern. Still you making a grand gesture, and then using it as proof of your virtue. Still you needing everyone to understand what you gave up. She picks up her coffee again. Don't you see? Even this pain for a stranger's treatment. Can't just do it and let it be. You have to tell people, have to make sure we know, have to use it as evidence in your defense. I never told anyone, not until yesterday, but you kept the receipts, the letter, the proof, just in case you needed it someday. She's not wrong, and we both know it. That's what I'm talking about. You can't just be generous. You have to be acknowledged for it. Recognized, thanked. I have no response to that. How did Michael react? I ask. When David showed him? She's quiet for a moment. He cried, said he wished he'd known. That it explained a lot. She paused, eh? Then he said it made him sadder. Made him wish things could be different. But knowing they can't be. Why can't they be? Because you are who you are, Robert. And we are who we are. And those two things don't fit together anymore. Maybe they never really did. The leaf blower outside shuts off. In the sudden quiet, I can hear the hum of the refrigerator, the tick of a clock somewhere. I love my son, I say. My voice sounds rough. I know you do. And my granddaughter, I want to be in their lives. I know that too. Then what do? How do I fix this? She looks at me for a long moment. I don't think you can. I think this is just how it is now. That's not good enough. It's going to have to be. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I ignore it. Patricia told someone at her work, I say, about cutting out toxic family members, about how proud she was of you for setting boundaries. Vanessa's jaw tightens. My mother talks too much. She called me Toxie. She shouldn't have. That was wrong. For the first time, Vanessa looks uncomfortable, but the sentiment isn't wrong. You are difficult, Robert. You do make things harder. And we're allowed to protect ourselves from that. Even if it means destroying a family, the family isn't destroyed. It's just ... different. Smaller. Without me in it. Yes. The word hangs there. Final. Your coffee's getting cold, I say. She looks down at the mug in her hands, surprised, like she'd forgotten it was there. I should go, I say. Yes. She doesn't walk me to the door, just stays in the kitchen, holding her coffee while I let myself out. The landscapers are packing up their truck. One of them nods at me. I nod back. I get in my truck, sit there for a moment, hands on the wheel. My phone buzzes again. 3 messages from David. Where are you? Dad, please call me Michael. Wants to talk. He's here at the hotel. Please come, I start the engine. But I don't drive to the hotel. I drive to the cemetery where Martha's buried because I need to tell her something. I need to tell her I failed. The cemetery is empty, except for a maintenance worker in an orange vest, trimming along the fence line. His weed whacker drones in the distance, a steady mechanical buzz that should feel intrusive but somehow doesn't. Just another sound in a place designed for silence. Martha's grave is in section C. Row 14. I could find it blindfolded. I've been here enough times every Sunday for the first year after she died, then every other week, then monthly, and now ... I don't know. When the loneliness gets too heavy, when I need to talk to someone who knew me before I became this. The headstone is simple. Gray granite, her name, her dates, and the line she picked out herself during one of those terrible conversations you have when someone's dying. Beloved wife and mother, she gave everything. She'd smiled when she chose those words. Weak, thin, sitting in our bedroom with hospice pamphlets spread across the comforter. Don't you dare put something sappy, she'd said. No resting in peace, or gone but not forgotten garbage. I want the truth. Which is, I'd asked, holding her hand, pretending my voice wasn't breaking, that I gave everything I had to this life, to you and the boys, and I don't regret a minute of it. Now those words stare up at me from the cold ground, and I wonder if she'd still feel that way, if she could see what her everything had bought us. I kneel down on the grass. It's wet from yesterday's rain, soaks through my jeans immediately, but I don't care. I pull a few weeds, growing near the base of the stone crabgrass, dandelions that somehow survived November. I fucked it up, I say out loud. The maintenance worker is too far away to hear. Even if he could, people talk to graves all the time. It's expected, normal. I had one job after you left. keep the family together, make sure the boys knew they were loved. And I couldn't even do that, right? A crow lands on a headstone 3 rows over, watches me with that unnerving intelligence crows have. It knows something I don't. Michael won't talk to me. Vanessa thinks I'm toxic, and maybe she's right. Maybe I am. I sit back on my heels. I went to their house today after I found out about the affair, about the therapy, about how I was part of the deal. Cut out the negative influences. That's what that therapist said. And apparently, I'm the most negative influence in his life. The crow hops closer, tilts its head. She said, I weaponize my grief, use it to make everyone feel guilty. And I sat there in that perfect kitchen with those perfect counters, and I wanted to defend myself. Wanted to explain that I'm not weaponizing anything. I'm just ... living, existing, missing you. My throat tightens. But maybe she's right. Maybe I do use you. Proof of something. The wind picks up, cold enough to sting. I should have worn a heavier coat. I showed them the papers. The proof about the money, about the treatment, about the kid I saved because I couldn't save you. Thought it would make them understand. Thought it would change something. I laugh, and it comes out bitter, but it didn't. Because even the most selfless thing I've ever done, I kept receipts, kept proof, just in case I needed to prove I was a good person someday. The crow flies away. I watch it disappear over the tree line. What am I supposed to do, Martha? How do I stop being who I am? Silence? Of course. Whatever answers existed, she took them with her. My phone rings. David's name on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. It rings again immediately. I answer this time. Dave, Jesus, Dad, where are you? Michael's here. He needs to talk. I'm at the cemetery. Pause. Oh, yeah. Listen, I know this is hard, but did you tell him about Vanessa's mother? About what I learned? No, that's not, Dad. That's not the point right now. The point is, he read those papers, and he's devastated. He had no idea about Mom, about the choice she made, and he wants to apologize. He wants to fix this. I close my eyes. It can't be fixed. Dave, don't say that. Vanessa just told me to my face that it doesn't matter what I did or didn't do, that who I am and who they are, and those things don't fit together. Vanessa isn't Michael. She is. That's the thing. She's his wife. His choice. And he chose their fresh start. I can't blame him for that. So what? You're just giving up. You're going to let them push you out without a fight. The question hangs there. Am I giving up, or am I finally accepting reality? Tell Michael ... I stop. Start again. Tell him I understand. Tell him I don't blame him. Tell him to be happy. Dad, and tell him I'm sorry for making everything about me, for not knowing how to just ... be. Without making it heavy, you're not coming to the hotel. No. Dad, please. I love you, Dave. You know that, right? His voice cracks slightly. Of course I know that. Good. That's good. I stand up, brush the wet grass off my knees. Take care of your brother. And Emma, make sure she knows her grandfather loved her, even if he wasn't very good at showing it. Jesus Christ, you sound like you're writing a suicide note. You're not? I'm not killing myself, David. I'm just ... letting go. Like Vanessa's Facebook post said, "Sometimes the best gift is knowing when to let go. That's bullshit, and you know it." Maybe it isn't. I have to go. I say where. Gid. Question. Where do you go when your family doesn't want you? When your wife is dead? When you're 67 years old and tired in your bones? I don't know yet. I hang up before he can argue. The maintenance worker has moved to a different section. His weed whacker is a distant hum again. I turn back to Martha's grave. "I wish you were here," I say quietly, "not just because I miss you, but because you'd know what to do. You always knew what to do." My phone buzzes, a text from a number 1 don't recognize. For a second, I think it might be Michelle again, the nurse, maybe with more information, more reasons to feel betrayed, but it's not. Grandpa, it's Emma. "I took Mom's old phone. Are you okay?" I stare at the message. Read it. 3 times. Emma, 10 years old, using her mother's old phone to reach out. "How did you get my number?" I type back. It was in Mom's contacts. Dad's crying. "Uncle David says you're at the cemetery. Are you visiting Grandma?" "Yes." 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. "Can I come see you?" My hands are shaking so badly I can barely type. "Does your mom know you're texting me?" "No. She's in the shower." Dad's in the bedroom with Uncle David. They're talking loud. "Emma, you should tell them where you are." "I'm in the house. I'm not going anywhere. But I want to see you." "I miss you." Those 3 words they hit harder than anything Vanessa said. Harder than Michael's silence. Harder than 5 years of grief. "I miss you too, sweetheart." Why did you and Dad fight? How do you explain adult dysfunction to a 10-year-old? How do you translate years of accumulated resentment and misunderstanding into something she could comprehend? It's complicated. I type, then delete it. That's what Michael said to me, and it meant nothing. We both made mistakes. I try instead. Sometimes adults don't know how to talk to each other. We forget how. That's dumb. Despite everything, I smile. It is pretty dumb. Are you sad? A little. Because of Grandma? Partly. But also because I miss your dad. And you. The dots appear again. This time they stay for a while. I can almost see her, curled up somewhere in that big house, picking her words carefully. "Dad showed me a picture of when you were young. You were smiling. I've never seen you smile like that." The observation cuts deep. Out of the mouths of babes, I used to smile more. I type. Before Grandma got sick, Mom says you're sad all the time now. That it makes everyone else sad too. Your mom might be right about that. But it's not your fault Grandma died. No. But maybe it's my fault. I didn't know how to be happy again. After a long pause. Then Uncle David says, "You paid for a man to not die. Like Grandma. Is that true?" "Yes. That's really nice." "Thank you. Did it make you feel better? Saving him?" No one's asked me that. Not David, not Michael, not even myself, really. I'd done it because it was there to do, because the money was burning a hole in my retirement account and that kid was dying and I couldn't save Martha, but maybe I could save him. Did it make me feel better? No, I type honestly, but it made me feel like her death meant something, like the choice she made to not choose demoniet still helped someone, just not her. That's sad. It is. I wish I remembered her better. I was only 5. She loved you very much. You were her favorite person in the whole world. Really? She used to say you were the best thing our family ever made. The dots appear and disappear. Several times I imagine her on the verge of crying, trying to compose herself. Can you tell me about her sometime? Not the sad stuff, the happy stuff. And there it is, the question I've been waiting 5 years for someone to ask. Not questions about her death, her illness, her suffering. Questions about her life, her happiness, her laughter. I would love that. I type. When? Good question. When does a grandfather who's been banned from Thanksgiving get to see his granddaughter? Before I can answer, another text comes through. This one from Michael. Did Emma text you? Her mom's phone is missing. Shit! I type back to Emma. Your dad knows! You should probably give the phone back. But Grandpa, I love you. I have to close my eyes. Have to breathe through whatever is happening in my chest. I love you too, Emma. So much. Bye, sweetheart. 30 seconds later, Michael texts again. We need to talk. Really talk. Can you come to the hotel? Please. I look at Martha's grave. At her name carved in stone. At the words she chose, she gave everything. What would you do? I ask out loud, but I already know the answer. Martha would go, would talk, would find a way to bridge the gap. Even if it meant being vulnerable, even if it meant admitting fault, even if it meant risking more hurt. She gave everything, even when it was hard. Especially when it was hard. I type back to Michael. Give me 30 minutes. Then I stand up, brush the dirt from my knees one more time, and touch the top of Martha's headstone. Wish me luck, I say. The wind picks up again, rattling through the bare tree branches. If I were a different kind of person, I might take that as a sign. But I'm just Robert Quinn, retired steelworker, widower, father, trying to figure out how to be enough. I walk back to my truck, and for the first time in 3 days, I feel something that might be hope, or might just be fear. Either way, it's better than nothing. The hotel hallway smells like industrial carpet, cleaner, and someone's cologne. Room 312. I stand outside the door for a full minute before knocking. Through the door, I hear voices go quiet, footsteps. The lock clicks. David